Hello, and welcome back to the Mad Cinemists Show. As always, we are your hosts, Scott G.
And Phil D.
It is our 5th episode, Philip.
Cinco.
Yay. Yay.
We made it. We made it to 5.
We made it to 5. We're doing a good job.
Doing a pretty good job right here.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't had any explosive anger at us yet.
Yeah. Not really.
Not really. No.
Yeah.
Only from each other.
Yeah. I
Let's
mean,
not talk about that.
We fight after the show.
You're a catty bitch. So?
Does that mean I carry your golf clubs?
No, not a catty bitch. You ain't no catty bitch. I wouldn't have you carry my golf clubs.
I think I'd be pretty
why,
good
Scott?
I think I'd be pretty good at carrying golf clubs.
Yeah, well,
honestly.
I don't have any golf clubs. So
how am I supposed to be your caddy? You don't have no golf clubs.
Man, have you ever seen Tangent? You ever seen Big Trouble?
In Little China?
No.
Oh no,
just Big Trouble with Tim Allen.
Yeah,
you have seen that.
Yeah,
you remember that the assassins carry around the sniper rifle in the golf bag,
yeah.
And every time he's getting off of a bus, he always fucking trips, and the gun just comes flying out of the bag.
Yeah,
there's one part in it where like Janine Garofalo walks up to him because she sees this happen. She sees him like throw the gun out of his bag, basically, and it's the guy that is the dude's landlord.
Yeah,
right. And then Avi from Snatch, right? Is the two Snatch assassins. So Janine Garofalo walks up and she just goes, "Hey, what's this, guys?" Looks at it for a second and just pulls the pin.
Oh, the pin.
No,
yeah.
Yeah. Right out of the side of the thing, and she just shows it to him, hands him the gun back, and walks away, and they're like, Miami sucks, but the cops are nice.
That's a damn good movie. It's really funny, really funny comedy that they don't make anymore, man.
No, it's not. Yeah, and Tim Allen was actually good in that film. Yeah, I think Tim Allen's underrated, to be honest. I don't think that he's as bad as people like to make him out to be. They make him out like he's this big like dildo or something. But
I think when once you have a popular sitcom, like people like just like to people just like to rag on you.
Yeah, I think that's what
after that.
Yeah,
you know, because think about it, it's just like everybody loves Raymond.
Well, he also wore those ridiculous suits in the 90s. You remember that?
That's true.
Ridiculous.
Oh well.
That's
essentially he did it to himself.
It's unforgivable.
Well, Phil, we did a kind of a special thing for this episode. We're doing our top 5 bargain bin.
But wait, I've got a question for you.
Oh, a question.
You see, we slipped up, guys, and didn't do a monthly experiment.
Yeah.
We got busy with stuff, and I'm going to blame it on Yoda, to be honest.
Yeah, it's all Yoda's fault.
But I have a question for Scott.
Okay.
Because I've noticed that a lot of people like to take movies that are just meh, not bad, but meh, you know, maybe not as good as other things, and like to say that they're terrible. It's the worst movie ever. I hate this movie so much. Like, how about, let's say, The Last Jedi, okay? Right. I like The Last Jedi. But I can understand in comparison to other Star Wars films how people might not be too happy about it. But it was not a terrible movie. Like, people try to make out like movies like that. So what is a terrible movie, Scott? What's a terrible movie that no matter what, you can't have an argument against it being a bad film?
Broken Flowers.
Broken Flowers.
Fucking Flowers.
Okay, yeah, solid.
Fuck
right there.
that movie.
Yeah, okay.
100%. There's absolutely no redeeming qualities for that movie at all.
Yeah.
Like, I have a love-hate relationship with Bill Murray as it is.
Okay.
Like, I love him. Like, he's a great actor when he wants to do a good job.
When he feels like it.
You know, and
by the way, Bill Murray doesn't really feel like it a lot of the time.
Well, and like that's fine.
He just is naturally funny.
Yeah, and he's
put him
just
in the
naturally
right spot.
funny.
Like, well, let's say Lost in Translation.
Yeah,
he's not trying very hard in that movie.
No,
he's
and
just being Bill
still
Murray.
a damn good movie.
It's still funny.
Still a damn good movie.
Mm-hmm. Like when he's talking to the old Japanese guy.
Yeah,
there's no jokes in that whole thing. It's hilarious.
And I understand that Broken Flowers isn't necessarily supposed to be a comedy. Maybe at the most, it could probably be considered a dark comedy. But man, there's just
that movie's just uncomfortable and stupid.
It's uncomfortable. And it's boring.
And it's real boring.
It's boring as shit.
Yeah.
And nothing happens in that movie. And yeah, Broken Flowers, 100%.
Yeah.
What about you? Is that yours, or do you have another one?
Okay, so again, it's that like love-hate relationship situation. Okay, because I'm gonna go ahead and lay this on the table. I really love John Waters.
Yeah,
but I would say Pink Flamingos.
Oh, okay.
That's like one of the worst fucking movies. And I get it. It's an art film, and it was made to like offend people, and there's parts of it that are supposed to be funny, but it's just shitty.
Yeah. Well,
it's just shitty.
Well, same thing with Broken Flowers. It's an art film. I get it's an art film, but it's not that artistic.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I guess Pink Flamingos is more artistic than Broken Flowers.
Yeah. Well, I think the term art film gets thrown around to pretty much anything that's like indie and like kind of slow. And
yeah, because we both know what a real art film is, and that's Jodorowsky.
Yes.
But
anyways,
yeah, I've tried to think of movies that I can show people to really make them understand what a really bad movie
film is.
Like, you ever seen The Room before?
Like that? Yeah, no.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Because it's the movie that
the Disaster Artist.
Disaster Artist. Yeah,
it's that dude.
It's that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've heard people say, like, that's the worst movie in the world. But at the same time, I mean, like...
That surpasses being a bad film because of how bad it is.
Yeah.
It's one that's on a completely different level because... It's like...
So bad it's good? Does it drift into that so bad it's good area?
Well, it's unaware of how bad it is. Like I feel like a movie like Broken Flowers was trying to be as mundane as it came off. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a movie like Pink Flamingos was trying to be as offensive and fucked up as it came off, but it just doesn't make for a good movie. Yeah. And that's really what I'm getting at with that one. It's uncomfortable to be uncomfortable. But like The Room, he didn't set out to make a movie that was bad.
Yeah, no.
He did not set out to make a movie that was...
He actually wanted to make a good movie.
He was sincerely trying to make a good film. He was trying to make something that was, next level something, and he was unaware of where he was in the range of film scale. Yeah. He just didn't understand it, Yeah. I really think that, like, with Broken Flowers, they knew what they were going for. And, okay, you ever seen a Serbian film?
No.
Hey, anyone listening to this, don't watch a Serbian film. I'm not kidding you guys. I'm not kidding you guys at all. It's not a good movie. It's brutal in a really fucking terrible way. The acting's shitty. The gore isn't even that believable.
Oh, really?
And that's what the movie kind of centers around. And there's a lot of it that's
so essentially it's gore porn that doesn't pull off the gore.
Yeah, it's not as good as like what Eli Roth would pull off, and I understand like he's kind of the master at this point, but the thing I'm saying is it doesn't, unless you're just fucked up in the head, there's nothing that movie's going to satisfy. Yeah. So that's definitely a worse movie ever, but that's on a completely different kind of level. Like it's not because as far as the way the film's made, it's just like a not great movie. Yeah. Right? But a movie like Broken Flowers, there's no redeeming qualities about anything that's going on. You can't even at least go, well, they did a lot of bloody stuff. That was cool.
Yeah.
Like it,
Well, it was kind of funny.
But that's not a Serbian film. Oh,
No.
God, it's not funny. Oh, hey, guys, again, warning, don't watch a Serbian film. Do not watch it. I'm not even going to tell you what it's about because I don't want you to be interested in it.
Yeah.
Don't listen to me. Listen to me, though. Don't watch it.
If you decide to disregard Philip's statements and you watch it, just know you were warned. You could have not done that.
You could have made the rest of your life better. But instead, you decided to disobey me and watch that film. I'm gonna be angry too. I'm not gonna give you candy next time I see you.
Yeah,
you know that. I usually give people
Snickers
candy
for you.
Don't I usually give people candy?
You do. You give me candy all the time.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna give any of you guys candy if you went and saw a Serbian film.
That's right.
All right. So now on to our
now on to the actual episode. So guys, we went out to a couple places around town. Couple of big retail stores.
The Reds and Blues.
The Reds and Blues. And just dug through some $5 bins.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a list here of pretty much everything we found that we thought we might eventually talk about.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to read those off. Princess Bride. Heavy Metal.
Yeah.
Goonies.
Nice.
Big.
So big.
So big. Dances with Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Office Space.
Yup.
Coming to America.
Uh-huh.
Pulp Fiction. Jaws. 7. 2001: A Space Odyssey. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah. That's right. 2 Kevin Costner movies, guys.
2 Kevin Costner movies. Kevin Costner is the man. Full Metal Jacket. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Blade.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
Footloose.
Woo!
Breakfast at Tiffany's. Gremlins. Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh, man.
Friday. Grandma's Boy.
Friday.
This is a long list, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to get through it real fast. Already said Grandma's Boy.
Yeah.
Okay. The Time Machine, the remake.
Yeah, the one with Guy Pearce in it.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. A double feature of Analyze This and Analyze That.
Oh.
So the first one in the sequel.
Which Analyze This is better, but whatever.
Right, but Analyze This wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Wasn't bad. Karate Kid, Half Baked, My Cousin Vinny, Police Academy, Spaceballs,
Mm-hmm.
Captain Ron, another double feature DVD, Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile. Dope. Last Starfighter, Castaway, Interstellar, The Fighter, Pacific Rim, The Shining, Blade Runner, Night of the Living Dead, Goodfellas, Gone with the Wind, Super Troopers, the original Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, sorry, and Casablanca.
The House of White.
Play it for me, Sam. So yeah, that's just the list of everything that we found. Now, obviously, we're not going to talk about all of these, and not all of these are going to make it onto the list, but we've narrowed it down into different categories.
5, to be exact.
5 categories, and we're going to pick one from each of those categories to go on our list. So we're actually building the list on this episode. So the way we have the categories broken down in is comedy,
Mm-hmm.
science fiction,
Mm-hmm.
horror thriller,
Mm-hmm.
action,
Ooh.
and drama.
So sad.
Tears in the rain.
And
So
when we kind of sat down and talked about this list for a while,
Yeah. Broke it down, and we picked 3 from each of those categories, at least the way that we thought they would fit into. Some of these would probably fit into multiple categories.
Yeah.
And some of these probably aren't. They're all accurate.
Yeah, whatever.
Category. Yeah, whatever.
Even if they're not, you can deal with it.
That's right. Just shut up and listen.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Listen. This isn't a talk cast.
That's right. This isn't a.
You don't talk to us.
This isn't a dialogue.
We made this up.
That's right. All right.
I think ideally the concept was that there'd be in each category a movie of Scott's pick, a movie of my pick, and then a movie that we both agree on.
Really, yeah. Both.
So, there's 3 in each category,
right.
and then out of those, we'll figure out what we think is the top 5. It might not be the one that we both agree on.
Might not.
Might
could
not.
be. It might not even be on this list.
It might not.
We may just pull a random movie out.
Maybe.
You never know. We're spontaneous.
That's right.
Woohoo!
Might be Speed Racer.
Might be Speed Racer. All right, so let's go down this refined list. Start with comedy. So the ones that we have in the comedy section is Captain Ron.
Oh man, I love Captain Ron so much.
Friday.
Yeah.
Office Space.
Yeah.
And
oh,
what was that?
Did you hear that? Okay, never mind.
Probably the neighbors.
That was weird.
Yeah. All right, so first one, Captain Ron.
Oh, dude, Captain Ron. Okay, so Captain Ron was probably the first movie that I ever saw.
Kevin Costner?
No, that's not Kevin Costner. That's
no. That's Kurt Russell.
Yeah, Kurt Russell. Kevin Costner. Yeah, it's probably the first movie that I ever saw Kurt Russell.
Russell's just Kevin Costner with a flat face.
Okay. Kevin Costner is Kurt Russell with a bird face. Okay, I see what you're getting at there. I don't know if I agree with you, but okay. I'll pick it up. I'll look at it. Put it away. But that was probably my first introduction to Kurt Russell. That and then Overboard with Goldie Hawn.
Yeah,
you remember that one?
Yep.
So I didn't know that Kurt Russell was like, a badass at all.
Oh yeah.
I just thought he was in silly movies.
Yeah, because at that point you hadn't seen Big Trouble in Little China.
I hadn't. No,
you haven't
I didn't
seen
see that until later.
Escape from New York.
No, not until way later did I see. I didn't see Escape from New York until I knew that it was
The Thing.
Well, until I knew that it was like the inspiration for Snake from Metal Gear.
Yo, yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I gotta watch this movie, and it's Kurt Russell. Man, I loved him in Captain Ron.
Kurt Russell is Snake.
But yeah, Captain Ron. One of the other great things I think about Captain Ron is Martin Short. Sometimes comes off a little strong when he's playing his own characters. Like I really don't like Jiminy Glick. I think Jiminy Glick's stupid a lot of the time. Sometimes he's funny, but most of the time he's just annoying.
Yeah.
And in this he plays the straight man.
Yeah. Well, I was just about to say that I think that Martin Short plays a better straight man.
Dude.
Like he can really get that like anxious, like really frustrated, like this goofy guy who's like fucking everything up for us. He can really play that like anxiety off really well.
Yeah, man.
But once he tries to play the other side, it just comes off as really. It seems like it comes off as very forced.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. So which he's funny.
Yeah.
I always liked him in Inner Space. But this to me is probably my favorite Martin Short ever. Yeah, is in Captain Ron. I
don't know. Mine goes back and forth between this and Three Amigos.
Oh, Three Amigos is
Three Amigos is really good, but I think a lot of that comes down to Steve Martin.
Yeah, not Chevy Chase.
Not Chevy Chase.
Chevy Chase, you did a mediocre job in Three Amigos. You were half an amigo.
Half an amigo. Less than half.
0.3 amigos.
0.3 amigos.
What we got next on that list?
Friday.
Friday, man. Okay, so Friday was one of those movies that as soon as it came out, I couldn't see it because, I mean, number one, like, my mom would have never allowed me to watch that when it came out.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely not. You know, just way too much swearing and drug references.
She was trying not to corrupt your mind too early.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a cultural thing because I watched a lot of UPN when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I watched like a lot of Martin and stuff like that. She never cared about any of that. It was just like Friday specifically. No. So I didn't see that until like a couple of years later when I was over at friends' houses, and I immediately fell in love with that movie.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's one that's timeless comedy, and it's the best out of the series.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah,
first one's absolutely the best. John Witherspoon, man, John Witherspoon is my favorite thing about Friday, and he is the most successful thing about the later movies. John Witherspoon's always hilarious.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's probably the only redeemable thing about Soul Plane. So, you know, there's that too.
Still haven't seen Soul Plane.
Oh, well, I mean, it's not really worth watching, but John Witherspoon's on it. So.
Yeah. Well, even like just with that kind of makes me kind of want to see it just to watch it.
Man.
But yeah, dude, Friday's top-notch comedy, man. I mean, like it really makes me laugh. And the thing about these first two is, like I said before, I mean, like nowadays it really doesn't seem like you like you don't get those kind of comedies anymore. You really don't.
Oh, absolutely not.
Like, I kind of hate that because I really like comedy.
Yeah.
You know, and just here recently, literally within the past 10 years, I haven't seen a comedy that's I felt will stand the test of time.
Yeah, I don't like a lot of the way comedy has become as far as like what am I thinking of? Like I like Tina Fey's writing. I don't like any of the big movies that she's come out with. There was one that I liked, what Baby Mama with her and Amy Poehler.
Yeah,
but that's still not one that I feel like is you know, it's not a legend. It's not a, you know,
it's not something that's like you're gonna watch like. Because I mean, I feel like with these movies, like I could put these in at any point, and still laugh at all the jokes.
Oh yeah.
And even maybe find a few that I didn't get beforehand.
Yeah.
You know, which is kind of how I judge comedies.
I mean, I'm telling you, like, Friday is one of those movies that I can't even... really, all three of these comedies are films that you can just quote constantly. You know,
100%.
Boss, there are gorillas on the island. You know?
No, there are no gorillas on this island.
No, boss, I'm telling you, there are gorillas on the island. But or for instance,
you lost your anchor. It's okay, boss. Everybody, it happens to everybody.
Yeah, it happens to everybody. Yeah. Or you know, or like in Friday, one of the things that we make fun of all the time is like, oh, my grandma bought me this chain. that's sort of, you know, or getting to our third movie, Office Space.
Office Space,
dude. Milton is one of the best things. Period. And
absolutely.
Do you know about the short Milton that he used to do?
No.
So that's where Office Space came from. Is Mike Judge did a short cartoon thing that was centered around Milton as a character.
Oh, okay.
And so a lot of the little ideas that came from Milton eventually turned into the film Office Space, and he got
he just built a story around it.
Yeah, and what's that guy's name? The one that plays Bill Dauterive.
Man, okay, so that's actually really interesting. I didn't know that there was like a short for that they just kind of built the film around.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, that's wow. Okay, that's really cool.
Because Milton's character, who's played by Stephen Root.
Heck yeah,
Stephen Root was the guy that was like he's Bill Dauterive in King of the Hill.
Yeah.
You know, and he's the blind guy from Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
They sang in the undercan and skedaddle.
Yeah, man. Stephen Root. That's it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But all of his lines and a lot of the movie in general is just completely quotable, probably to a fault. You know?
I can agree with that. At a certain point when a comedy gets too quotable, it kind of loses its sting.
Mm-hmm. It does.
You know? That's kind of like, just to go off topic, it's kind of why I don't really watch movies like Borat or Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
They just it just got to the point to where everybody was just saying that shit.
But I feel like even
again.
having Office Space and Friday specifically out of the two of those quoted so much, the way those lines are delivered in the films is so perfect.
Yeah, that
that it's timeless. Like Dietrich Bader.
Yeah.
Which Dietrich Bader, guys, is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But him as Lawrence in the movie,
yeah.
That's always my favorite thing. That, hey, Peter, man, it's the breast exams. Dietrich Bader kind of sounds like Troy in that movie.
Yeah, oh man, he does sound like Troy.
Sounds like Troy.
Hey, man, let me tell you this shit.
She always did look like the kind of chick that just cheat on you, man. Just, what do you mean? I'm just talking out my ass, man.
Man, has anybody ever said you look like you got the case of the Mondays?
No, man. Oh, hell no. No, matter of fact, I think you get your ass kicked saying something like that. Yeah, I most definitely love all three of these movies. Like Captain Ron was the movie of my youth. And then both Office Space and Friday became movies of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've recently rewatched Captain Ron.
Because you just picked it up, right?
I just picked it up. I just went ahead and bought it when we were digging through bins. But I used to watch that movie all the time with my dad, and that's one of my dad's favorite movies.
Yeah, it's one of my mom's favorite old comedies like that.
It's just,
I said, that and Overboard.
Yeah, so there's a lot of nostalgic value with that movie.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
That still carries over, but I mean, just anytime Kurt Russell decides to be funny, he's absolutely hilarious.
There's also something about Captain Ron that always makes me think of that Paul Simon song. That if you be my bodyguard, I can be your long lost pal. Yeah, if you call me Betty. Yeah, that and it doesn't. I don't think that's in that movie.
It's not in that movie, but it is in some movie kind of like that. It's not in It's not Weekend at Bernie's, is it?
I don't think so. No. We might just have to watch Weekend at Bernie's again, though.
Yeah, anyways.
Weekend at Bernie's. They don't make movies like that
Fuck,
no more.
No, they don't. Carrying around a dead man.
So...
but yeah, last one on this list, of course, is...
It just happened again.
Did you hear that?
Okay, this is... That's weird. I think we're having technical difficulties, guys.
Yeah, whatever. We'll skip that last one.
Ugh. Okay, so now on to sci-fi, right?
Yeah. Now on the well, what do you think? What's your before we move on? Let's go ahead and pick a movie.
Whoa, now.
Let's pick a movie.
Don't force me.
Better pick a movie, god damn it. No. Okay.
I think I'm gonna say Office Space out of those three for me.
Office Space?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Captain Ron's just so good.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
But I can go with Office Space. I can go with Office Space for this list.
Okay.
For this
Office
list.
Space.
Yeah. All right. So now let's move on to sci-fi. For sci-fi, we picked Blade Runner, Interstellar, 2001, and...
God damn it.
Keeps happening.
Is this... Are you guys hearing this? I'm starting to think we're just crazy. No, that's an illusion. Okay, so.
But anyways, so Blade Runner. We've already
covered this.
We've already talked about it.
You guys know we love this.
Yeah,
movie.
it's amazing. Harrison Ford is great.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, Rutger Hauer's great.
I've always loved that really aggressive kiss that he gives
Oh.
Rachel, you know, where he's all drunk and
He's always so rough with it.
he gives her just like a, God damn it, I'm going to kiss you. Kiss. And
Whether you like it or not.
It's not even like a kiss. He just presses his face into hers. Like I bet it doesn't even feel good. It's not like don't get kissed
It's
by
almost
Harrison
like
Ford,
they tried
guys.
to do that kiss so many times,
Yeah.
and maybe she kept turning away.
Yeah.
You know, and then finally Harrison Ford was just like, "Fuck this! I'm getting this kiss done. Like I'm getting this scene done."
And Ridley Scott was like, cut and print.
There it is.
But yeah, we love Blade Runner.
Yeah. Interstellar.
What do you have to say about Interstellar?
I mean, it's done by Nolan, man. I
Yeah.
mean, everything that man touches is gold, in my opinion.
Except for
it's-
maybe Dunkirk. I watched Dunkirk. It's not terrible or anything, but it ain't his other movies.
It's definitely his weakest movie so far.
Yeah.
But I love
So-
I love Interstellar. Interstellar is really good, and I like it. Have you talked to a bunch of people just don't seem to really
have a
care?
connection about
Don't
Interstellar.
really care for it. Too
I
much.
agree with you. Yeah,
You
I've
know,
talked to
it's
quite a few
weird.
people, and do you remember Hayden that we used to work with at Jackson's?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hayden is one of my film buff buddies. We actually went to a Japanese film festival together a
Nice.
long time ago. So, but Interstellar was a thing that he was waiting for me to watch so that he could talk to me about it. He kept telling me, "Oh, you got to watch it," and I was like, "Well, I want to see The Martian." Too.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, The Martian's good, but you really need to watch Interstellar, especially
See, and
knowing
that's the
that I'm a
argument
Nolan
that
fan."
I always hear when I
Martian
talk to people
versus
about-
Interstellar.
Yeah, Martian versus Interstellar.
Well, for instance, the guy that we saw when we were looking at these films, because
Yeah.
I used to work at one of the red or blue establishments, pick whichever one you want.
Yeah, actually, really funny story. While we were in these stores, we
Yeah.
actually had a lot of employees
Just
walk
talk to
up
us. Yeah.
and just talk to us and actually help us pick out movies.
Yeah, it was
like,
fun.
Like,
Yeah.
actually help us dig these movies out.
They were into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were having a good time.
But so my friend Derek works at one of them, and he came up to me and started talking to me about this and that. And this is about the time that I pulled Interstellar out of the bin, and of course it was going on the list. It's one of my favorite movies, period, ever.
Yeah.
And I showed it to him, and he was like, "Eh." You know, and I was like, that's all you got? And the first thing that he said was, well, I like The Martian more. Which I mean, okay, yeah, that's fine. I don't care. You can like whatever you want more.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know why. I'm like, well, why'd you like The Martian more? He was like, well, the science was better. And I was like, yeah, but the Interstellar was so much more sad.
Yeah.
And that's the-
Well, and I mean, there's accurate, at least what we know of at this point, science. I mean, they
we
did
ain't
some
scientists.
research on it.
we
You
know
know,
sciencers.
But at the same time, it's
So-
way, like, the Interstellar is way more visually interesting to me.
And emotionally interesting,
Right.
and I feel like I think in this is an argument that I'd like to reach with you right now, and this isn't you and I argument. It's more of an argument
I don't
against
know.
a
I
lot
think
of
we're
other
about
people.
to throw down.
Oh, I'm about to throw this chair. I'm gonna throw a chair, and then I'm gonna throw a bottle, and you ain't getting back up.
Shit.
I'm gonna go super hot on
Well,
you.
it was nice talking at you guys.
You know I've been training, right? Do you understand how much super hot I play? I will take you down with normal objects. So anyway,
Yeah.
I've noticed that there's this thing, especially with for instance the three fellows that I work with, where it seems like people really like movies that are wholly based in reality. Every bit of it has to make perfect, logical, physical, scientific sense all the fucking time.
Right.
That shit is boring. That's the only statement I'm going to make here, okay? I'm not saying that scientifically accurate things are bad. I actually think that's a good thing. But you know what? I grew up on anime.
Yeah.
I grew up on cartoons. I really like comics. I really like video games. And a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that's really cool about a lot of that stuff does not make rational sense.
Oh, no, not at all. None of that shit's logical
No.
most of the time.
And I don't find a movie like Interstellar to be illogical.
No.
But there are probably some kind of foreshadowing flaws that somebody that's hyper rational would just be like, oh, well, if this person had done this one thing, then the whole movie wouldn't exist. Because that's exactly what all these people do. Instead of like feeling a connection with a character, and wanting to go through a journey.
If Sarah Connor would have eaten a shotgun, Terminator wouldn't happen.
Yeah, all she had to do was kill herself. That's all she had to do. Just boom, done. Yeah, but it's like it's just very weird to me that people would even try to argue the validity of the events in a film that is a science fiction film.
Yeah.
Now The Martian is trying to be as scientifically accurate as it can be.
Yeah.
Right? Interstellar is using some liberties.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But it's still in the realm.
Well, it's still some of the best science fiction is based on science as we know it at the time. But it takes liberty. That's where that fiction aspect comes into.
But I still feel like some of these individuals that like the hyper realism of events that actually happened, or like that'll. Have you seen the Raid movies?
No, I haven't seen those.
This is just another point that I'm making as far as the way this goes. But there's the Raid movies are they're Thai action films. Raid Redemption and the Raid 2. They're both real fun, brutal action movies.
Yeah.
But there's like a certain point in the film where basically these cops, it's like a drug skyscraper. Like it's a whole high-rise building of apartments that at the top of them this drug lord lives, and he controls the whole slum building and all this stuff. And so the cops are trying to do a raid on this building, but it's like a big syndicate layer and that kind of thing. So it's the cops are up against all hell, and they're, not taking it very well.
Yeah.
But there's this part where the cops are storming in, and it looks, very anime, very comic book. It really makes me think of like some Frank Miller style stuff because of the way the bullets are coming through walls and the way that the cops are taking cover. And it's just kind of action movie style. And these bad guys are up above on a little ledge, so they're able to aim down. And like the whole time you're seeing all this badass, action shit going on. People getting kicked and cut and thrown into walls.
And it's just an
really
awesome
great
fight scene.
Really great fight scene. And my boss goes, well, cops wouldn't actually take a vantage point like that because, you're obviously open to fire from above, so you're not. And I'm like, you're missing everything that's cool about this. You're trying. Thank you for ruining the raid. But that's kind of what I'm getting at with the whole Interstellar versus Martian thing. I think some people expect reality because they live in reality.
Yeah.
And I think that reality isn't as fun as fantasy.
Yeah.
And that's just a very baseline that I think both of us agree on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like when I watch a movie, I do watch more realistic movies.
Well, it's like you said, we take
stuff.
the leap of faith, though.
Yeah. I think to a certain degree with a lot of movies, not even just science fiction or fantasy, or
just a lot of movies.
Just period. A lot of movies, you have to take a certain leap of faith because it is a movie. James Bond. Or like even the Bourne movies. I mean, there is a huge leap of faith in believing more than half of the scenes.
Well, it's like
in those movies.
It's that whole ex machina thing. The God machine making it's placed here because it helps the story progress. It's a motivational point. It's MacGuffin. Exactly. I always like that term.
Yeah. But anyways, so. Yeah,
2001 though.
2001.
I think that Interstellar and 2001 share a lot in common.
They really do.
And you can tell that Christopher Nolan is making a throwback to a lot of 2001's imagery, especially with the docking of the spacecrafts.
Oh yeah,
all that stuff. And by the way, 2001, although a lot of people do represent it as being the first film to do that stuff, the first film to actually do that stuff is Solaris.
Oh yeah. The Russian version, the original.
The Russian version, yeah, which is a great movie. But I didn't see Solaris until much later, so much like the rest of the U.S. populace, we saw 2001, which is still a very striking film and completely different, of course.
Yeah. Well, and it has that Stanley Kubrick like
insanity,
pacing and insanity, and just really just super intense moments.
Yeah,
like that you wouldn't expect, and a lot of that has to do with like just the sound design that he has in a lot of his movies.
The sound design is amazing in 2001, dude.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, and playing planets. Gum 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 boom boom.
Yeah. But here's a really interesting thing. The guy who actually did a lot of the special effects for 2001 was going to be helping Jodorowsky on his Dune.
Yeah, but wasn't he like too picky or something?
He was really picky.
Yeah.
And of course Jodorowsky was just like, he's not a warrior. I need warriors.
I love Jodorowsky so much.
But I thought that was really cool. Like,
I think I'd follow Jodorowsky into the desert with a stick and go fight some shit. I think if he was like, I need warriors, you come with me, I'd be like, yes, I will, sir. Yes.
Front lines.
Yeah. Can I have some of that acid too?
But yeah, no, of course the special effects are dated, but they're so stylized that it almost doesn't even matter watching that movie.
I agree.
Yeah. Because you still get the feeling of that isolation in space, and that's really honestly what you get when you watch those scenes, is just that just really serene, slow moving, like atmosphere.
Yeah, man.
And that's just, I don't know, that's so powerful to me. It's something that we don't get with a lot of our space sci-fi, because everyone's trying to like make the faster ships. They're trying to do the Kessel Run, and that's great. I love that too, but sometimes I just really kind of want space to be still.
Like the awe of space.
Yeah.
That's one thing I really liked about Gravity.
Yeah.
Once
Gravity
started slowing down, once everything stopped spinning, because that was
that was intense.
Good 15
You watched
minutes.
that in VR, didn't you?
Ooh. I watched that in VR tripping.
Oh.
And it's spinning.
You did that to yourself.
It's spinning. It's spinning. You're like, oh. It's good though. Yeah. In 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
oh, by the way, this is breaking news to everybody that doesn't know it. So
this shit tonight.
There's a VR Elton John video that just came out. Yeah, so we should check that out in a second. Yeah, when we get done with this podcast, we're
going to check it out.
Yeah.
You should check it out after you listen to this podcast.
Because you can watch the 360-degree videos on your phone. You just don't get the 3D effect, unless you have one of the Google Cardboards or whatever.
Is that from the concert that he recently did? Because wasn't that his
No,
last?
This isn't a concert 360
video. This
video.
is just a video.
This is which I've only seen one other artist do this. There are a lot of them that have, but I've only seen one other one, which was Bjork. And the Bjork video was crazy because you're like, oh, there's Bjork. Wait, there's another Bjork. There are 3 Bjorks.
There are 3 Bjorks?
Am I in heaven?
This must be a dream. No, it's real?
Oh. It's reality. It's virtual reality.
Whoa!
Yep. Future's made of virtual reality, guys.
Mind blown.
Yep.
But anyways, okay, so out of these 3, I want to give it to Interstellar, man.
I do too, actually.
But
Blade Runner's on this list.
2001's on this list. This is really hard.
This is actually a difficult one.
This is actually really hard. Okay,
You got a 3-sided coin?
Shit, no. Alright, so what we're going to do is, since we both agree on Interstellar, let's just go with Footloose.
Sounds like a good idea.
Sounds good. All right.
Okay.
Cool. Moving on.
Yeah.
All right. So the next category, horror thriller, and on this one we have 7 Shining, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original.
Yeah, that's definitely happening now, isn't it?
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't hear anything.
Don't do that to me.
All right, so 7, man. This movie is
Dude, okay,
I know
look,
we've talked about this. This is one of our.
I gotta say something right off the gate.
Yeah,
it's way better than 6. 7 knocked it out of the park. Next level, man.
Look, dude. I mean,
you know why, right?
Because 7, 8, 9.
You heard? I saw the pictures.
Ooh. Are you telling me you watched snuff number pictures?
No, man, 9's a lady. He didn't do nothing bad.
Oh, okay. Number porn. You didn't even know that happened.
Which immediately reminds me of that terrible part in 7 that and he told me to fuck her and I did.
Get it off me! Get it off!
I like it that guy does the same thing in Alien Resurrection.
Oh.
What the fuck's inside me? That's his whole thing.
That's just his thing. He just plays the same character.
He's just gonna they're gonna have him getting a hot dog somewhere. I said kraut relish. What the fuck's on this hot dog? So 7
is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I agree too.
I absolutely love it. It's definitely my favorite David Fincher. Film. Best film he's ever done. Definitely way better than Alien 3. And I really like Alien 3.
And I like 7 more than Fight Club.
Yeah.
And I really love Fight Club.
Yeah.
But 7, man.
7, man. It's just, I mean,
well, Kevin Spacey in the film. This is one of the reasons why, for the longest time, I was really considering Kevin Spacey as one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
I think I've moved away from that more just because I think his later roles haven't been as compelling to me. I don't really care for him in House of Cards. I think the show is fine. It never really grabbed me, but I think his fucking southern accent is garbage.
Yeah.
It's as bad as Tom Hardy's accent in The Revenant. And, man, I love Tom Hardy, but, dude, you got booty ass Tennessee accent.
Southern accent.
That don't try to.
That shit don't fly in the South.
Yeah, yeah, that squirrel. Yeah,
but
he sounded like Scruffy.
Yeah,
in The Revenant, you know that. But anyway, back to Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey is just such a psycho in this movie. You know the things. Well,
he's not even really he doesn't even really play that crazy.
No,
he's very rational. He's very logical. He's almost hyper sane.
Part of what fucked me up about him, though, the most, when the first time I watched it, wasn't even his actions specifically, but it's when they were looking at his notes. This is one of those moments where the idea of a scene is way larger than what is actually shown.
Yeah,
because they show, bookcases of his stuff,
just his notes and then his journals,
and then he has this look on his face, and of course Brad Pitt's like, oh, I mean, does it have anything in it? And Morgan Freeman gives him this look like, you don't even know what I'm okay, here. And so he just starts spouting off what came out of this, and the way that he thinks, to think that there are volumes of all of this writing, to think that he has poured these thoughts continuously. This whole he tried to be pleasant to a man on the subway. He, after a couple of minutes of nodding his head and exchanging words, he eventually vomited all over the guy's shoes. At which point he started laughing, and the guy wasn't happy at all about it. And he just went off about how people are vermin and all this. And it's one of those things that his madness exceeds the film.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
and you don't even you don't see him through half of it. But I mean, and this is something that you don't see in a lot of these type of films, these type of serial killer thrillers. He gave himself up.
Oh yeah, he did.
They came. What is it? They came really close to catching him one time
because he was the reporter.
Yeah.
because they go to kick in his
door.
Well,
not even that. He was coming home to feed
Oh, that's
the
right.
dude.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
He was the reporter in another scene.
Yeah.
But
I got your fucking picture back.
And they just kind of surprised him. But if he hadn't turned himself in, they would not have caught him.
No, they wouldn't.
At all.
Mm-mm.
And he was still playing them. It was all part of his plan, but I don't know. The acting in this movie is just phenomenal.
It's top notch. It's my favorite.
Every actor in this movie really kind of gave it their all, and every actor in this movie. I mean, you had Morgan Freeman, who was kind of a veteran at that point.
Yeah,
dude.
But Brad Pitt plays the cocky young cop better than anybody, and he eats his motherfucking guts at the end of it because he thinks he's that cocky cop that can make anything happen. He's not afraid of the situation. I love it when he's in the car and he's being cocky to him. Hey, man. When you're fucking crazy, do you know you're crazy? Or you're just ever sitting there reading Guns and Ammo and jacking off to your own shit and thinking, wow, I am fucking nutso. And he's so cocky and throwing it in his face. And Kevin Spacey's even telling him, you don't know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
You don't even know yet.
You have no idea.
And he breaks that kid. And you see it. You see him get broken.
And
that's one of Brad Pitt's finest performances, period.
100%.
If not his best performance ever.
Yeah, I would definitely put that there. Okay, but yeah, all right. Moving on, The Shining.
The Shining
another Kubrick.
I just recently found out about two things that I want to cover real quick. So number one, I found out that him shoving his face in the hole and saying "Here's Johnny" was ad-libbed.
Oh, that's neat.
That's real neat.
That is super neat.
And then
because that's like the iconic scene.
It's the thing a lot of people remember.
Exactly.
And then we both found out about this. The book, the sequel.
The sequel's coming out soon. Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep.
Dr.
No Sleep.
No. I think it's just Dr. Sleep. Because
Dr.
I looked
Sleep?
it up the other day.
Dr. Sleep.
Yeah. It's got Ian McGregor's signed on to actually play Danny. And it follows Danny, the little boy from The Shining. Years after trying to come to terms with the events that happened in the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah.
And coming to terms with his abilities and so on. And whatever. If you've read the book, you know what's going to happen. If you haven't, this seems like a really interesting movie that's coming out very soon. We're excited for it. You should be excited for it.
And The Shining is another Kubrick classic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Something I noticed, because I recently rewatched it, something I noticed, that camera does not stay still.
Oh.
Whatsoever. That camera is always moving. Even in more still shots when it's close, when you're doing when he's doing a close up.
Yeah.
It still kind of moves and focuses in really slowly and kind of follows the person. That camera does not stay still. And that's something that I haven't seen in a lot of movies, and really in a lot of Kubrick films. Like the camera just moves and follows and really kind of creeps and tries to peer around corners. It just really adds this really creepy vibe to the movie, that I absolutely love. And
it's almost like his Hitchcock style or something.
Yeah, almost.
He does very smooth pans and stuff. I know exactly what you're talking about with the movie. Like the hallway sequences, how he's dollying down the hallway, and it's a lot of
It doesn't. The camera does not stay still throughout that
there's
entire
actually
movie.
There's a lot of that from 2001 though.
True, but I think he really hammered it home with this one.
Okay, I can
really, because I feel like the camera itself was almost like a separate entity in the movie.
Yeah,
at least that's what it feels like to me.
And I feel like Shelley Duvall screaming is one of those things that's burned into my memory.
Yeah, I really don't get into her acting in that movie whatsoever, because she's very bland, and I guess she's trying to play that very like subdued, submissive, like, you know,
I
mom
guess.
and wife and stuff like that. And it's just like it kind of turned me off until right at the end when shit really starts happening.
Then it's
and
awesome.
She just goes off, and it's like, oh, okay. Well,
that's
she
when it's
can pull
awesome.
emotion out of her ass. She was just holding back. But I love that movie, and I love it too because it's not your typical horror movie. Most horror movies are really dark, and you can't really see a lot. This movie, even in like scenes when it's night and they're outside, are still very well lit. Like, this movie is probably one of the brightest lit horror thriller movies ever.
Yeah, you're kind of right about that.
Yeah.
Everything is right in the open. They don't use darkness very much at all.
No.
I mean, even the the outside scenes, a lot of it's snowing.
A lot of it's
So
snowing,
it's
and
brighter.
the only time you really get to where you can't really see anything is just that fog or that mist that he has rolling in throughout all of the outside scenes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And even then doesn't obstruct your view at all. You see everything, you know. It's really, it's less, you know, expecting a jump scare and something popping out at you, and more just like, hey, here's a really fucked up situation. Like, you know, here's like, put yourself in like those people's shoes. That's terrifying.
Terrible.
That's terrifying. Somebody you love has just gone insane and is chasing you around with an axe. That's terrifying. You know?
Classic horror. What you always think of.
Yeah. Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of the most revered horror films ever.
Oh, 100%.
And I watched it again maybe a couple of months ago. I watched that and the second one again because I really hadn't seen them in so long that I wanted to refresh myself. And I forgot just how genuinely creepy a lot of the stuff in the first film is.
Yeah.
It's so... Like, man, okay, let's just go ahead and start with this. Who in the fuck would pick up that hitchhiker? As soon as it'd be like, hey man, get in the van. And then I saw him when I opened the door, be like, sorry, the van's full. Like,
man, you ain't got nobody else in here.
Oh,
I got stuff.
Oh man, I forgot. I couldn't count the seats right. I'm sorry. I misjudged.
What do I look like, a seat counter?
Yeah, I don't count seats. And then, like, there's so many things about that film that are landmark, you know, as far as the horror genre. Yeah. The gore, just how everyone is being just
well, and it
murdered.
gets thrown into the slasher genre, but I've never... Anytime I've watched that movie, I've never, like, put it... I've never personally put it in the category of, like, a Halloween or a Friday the 13th.
No, it's really not.
Yeah. No, it like...
It's way more of a...
I mean, it's got a guy in a mask chasing people around, you know, with chainsaws and, you know, shit. But, I mean, it's not really what you would typically think of. It definitely has a lot of those tropes, but it kind of subverts them in a way.
Well, and it also puts them in a completely different aspect. You know, it's not the camp. It's not the your home. It's not, you know, those kind of things. It's the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah,
it's
a completely unknown environment.
Yeah,
yeah.
I guess at the time, what you would compare it to is like Hills Have Eyes. Which, especially the original Hills Have Eyes, this is much better of a movie.
Oh yeah,
and much more convincing, and just, you know, wholly terrifying with a lot of the things that are happening. You know, it's like you were saying that scene where he pops out of the door and snatches that bitch up,
dude. And
that shit's still just like
Imagine, like, think back to the first time you saw that scene.
Yeah,
I mean,
you weren't expecting it. You weren't expecting it at all.
Like at all, dude. You're just like, oh man, she got it. She's gone.
Yeah,
you know, and then she's out of here, and then boom.
I think the old guy with the barbecue, you know, he's creepy as shit.
Oh yeah.
man, I also think, and this is a big deal about this movie, and I did not notice it until the last time that I watched it, which I've probably seen this, first one good 10 or so times, but I didn't even notice it until this last time. There's no background music for most of that movie.
Holy shit, I think you're right.
There's nothing going on.
I think you're right.
And it adds to a tension that I don't think very many other films have anymore, because they want to scare you with the music and they want to add the suspense, and instead this movie just sounds like the microphones are turned on, and that's it, and it gives it an eerie realism that I don't. The other two movies on this list don't have this feeling, and I realize that they are different.
Yeah,
but this movie feels a little bit more found footage in certain situations, because it feels like an unedited, just raw, here's some outside with some people situation. And because of that, I think that's what made that movie so believable. The gore is done very appropriately. There's nothing in that movie that is so obviously fake immediately. I mean, I guess there are little things, but
like the time it was made.
That's what I'm getting at. That's really what I'm getting at. Like, especially when it came out, and you're thinking about the equipment you'd be watching it on, you believe what you're seeing for the most part.
Yeah, and
it's gritty enough that it's believable.
Yeah,
and it's based on somebody. Is it Ed Gein? Maybe.
That sounds right.
One of them.
We'll go with it.
Loosely based, of course.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's Pogo the Clown.
No.
What's his name? John Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy.
I don't think it's John Wayne Gacy.
It's not John Wayne Gacy.
Fucking John Wayne. See, clown folks fucked up, guys. Okay. Look at John Wayne Gacy.
That's right.
All right.
Clown cloaks. Clown cloaks.
Clown cloaks. Okay.
Okay. So I think we've actually got a winner for this section.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah.
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 What are you thinking?
Footloose?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. All right. So this next category is action. In this one, we have Pulp Fiction.
Yup.
Karate Kid.
Mm-hmm.
Which, it's action.
Karate Kid.
And Blade.
Blade.
Right.
Yeah, so this is definitely a spread here.
It really, this is probably the one with the most differences between the films. Like, these are very different movies.
Because as far as action, straight up just action, well, that's Blade.
Yeah, 100%.
Blade is super awesome action flick.
Yeah. And Pulp Fiction has that, kind of urban action, more realistic.
But man, there's so much drama in that movie.
Yeah.
It's not pulp action.
Yeah. Well, it's not pulp drama either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no. We
and then Karate Kid.
And then Karate Kid.
Which it's action, I guess.
Karate.
There's
Karate's
action.
It's
action. I'm sure someone said action on the set.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with that one, though. But
Karate Kid?
Yeah, let's start with Karate Kid.
Okay.
It's just a solid film, and especially when, what's the dude's name? Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah. Pat Morita.
Pat Morita. Dude, when he is, when he's drunk, that scene...
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's talking about his wife.
Yep.
Like, that is heartbreaking.
I know, because at first you're like, okay, cool, he's just funny old man with a weird look. And then later you're like, oh, no.
They brought so many layers to that character that you don't see in the sequels whatsoever.
Yeah.
And that a lot of people really don't talk about, really. I mean, I guess...
Well, because it's all about the kid. They don't worry about Miyagi's personal life. They're like, yeah, whatever, old man, keep it in the box.
Yeah.
But I mean, how to wax off.
I mean, he's honestly, man, Pat Morita, Mr. Miyagi is the reason I like this movie so
Me too.
much.
I completely agree. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, Ralph Macchio is kind of I mean, he's cool. I'm not saying I don't like the movie or anything, but I do think that Ralph Macchio is kind of a bitch. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, if you actually watch the movie, he's the actual antagonist.
Yeah.
Oh. Because, I mean, like, think of the beach scene, dude.
Oh.
He wasn't invited.
Yeah.
He comes, he hits on a dude's girl.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And then they kick his ass.
Fucking Ralph
He
Macchio.
fucking deserved it.
Yeah.
And then no one's messing with him at the dance. And he, dumps a bunch of water on the dudes in the next stall. Just because he can.
Yeah.
Of course he gets his ass beat.
Man, he's the antagonist. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Man.
He's the reason all the shit happens to him. If he wasn't such a dick.
Own problem. But yeah, I agree. Pat Morita is amazing in this movie. So, let's talk about Blade.
Okay.
I want to go ahead and get down to brass tacks on this. Before the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Blade is, in my opinion, the best of the Marvel tied-in movies out of the old ones.
Oh, yeah.
Blade is absolutely my favorite out of all of them. And, I mean, the Spider-Man 1 and 2, the ones with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
I really liked the second one a lot.
Second one's really good.
Yeah, man. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock is great. That's
absolutely
real great.
Perfect.
But I still like Blade more. Mm-hmm. And because of that, because think about all the older ones. So think about, like, the first run of Fantastic Four. You know, think about the old X-Men movies.
The first one's really good. The first one's
real good, and the second one's not too bad. And did you know that both of those were actually originally written by David Hayter, the guy that does the voice of Snake?
No.
Yeah, the original screen treatments were written by David Hayter.
What?
Boop. And, then there's, like,
I mean, what else did you really have? You didn't really have, like...
The Punisher.
The Punisher.
Yeah. Which I don't hate that movie, but man, he is not punishing. He is he's he's an ass kicker, but man, he's not punishing.
No.
He's not putting people's faces in deep fryers and shit like the real Punisher does.
Yeah. I definitely think they finally did the Punisher justice in the Netflix
Punisher.
Marvel.
Oh, see, I still haven't seen
series.
that, man.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that. Well, okay, I would say Blade is better than any of the Netflix Marvel stuff.
I don't know if I can give you that one.
Dog, Blade.
Dude, Daredevil Season 2 is really good.
Blade, man.
Daredevil Season 2 is really good. I love Blade. Love Blade. I'm right there on you as far as, like, movies, and especially early comic book movies. Blade's way up there.
And there's so much, like, rave shit going on in Blade, and it worked really well. Like, it was just, like, late 90s drug culture mixed in with whip-ass vampire
late
action.
90s rave goth.
Yeah, rave goth, yeah. It's basically, late 90s rave goth mixed with whip-ass Wesley Snipes action. Yeah, it's just...
And probably the last vampire movie where vampires, like, weren't just sparkly nothings of whispers of
I want badass vampires.
They're the pretty boys. No, give me the nasty blood-soaked vampire. I don't want a pretty boy vampire.
No, I want a vampire that can summon ghouls and turn it. Have you ever seen Hellsing? I want to go off on a tangent here.
Yes, I love
Do you
Hellsing.
Remember when there are those two Valentine brothers that decide that they're going to come try to beat up on Alucard? And the quicker of the two brothers, who was a badass in his own rights, decides, I'm gonna get him. So he comes in, guns a-blazing, and Alucard's like running on like 10%.
Yeah,
like he's not even really trying. He's not awoke. He's not woke up yet. He was taking a nap, and Valentine woke him up. And there's this part like when he finally turns it on, and Valentine ends up getting his legs ripped off, and he's on the ground, and there's this point where he's just yelling at him, and he's like, "Come on, do something, regenerate your limbs, turn into mist or bats, show me you're a real vampire." And It's that kind of stuff that I miss about vampires, which is part of the reason why I think Blade was so dope. And the first Blade, although I love Guillermo del Toro, is the best out of the series.
100%.
You know, because the second one has so many cool concepts, it's still not as good of a movie as the first Blade.
Right. Well, it had so many good concepts that it tried to shove into a, like, what, hour and a half, hour 45 minute time slot. Yeah. And, like, and the fact that the first Blade was just a solid story
and a great action flick
before Wesley Snipes went crazy and stayed in his trailer for all of the action scenes.
Ooh,
yeah. Did you hear about that? Because on
third one,
on Blade Trinity, most of the action scenes, most of the actual action scenes, even the stuff that Wesley Snipes could have done, unless he's talking, it's his stuntman.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Man.
Unless Wesley
the first
Snipes
movie
has
was a lot of him.
Yeah. It was mostly him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Man, I had a fondness of Blade because of Spider-Man. You know, that's where I was introduced to Blade.
The animated series?
The animated series, The Amazing Spider-Man. And
what was that other Morlock?
Yeah, Morlock was on there.
Yeah.
Do you remember Craven?
Yeah,
he was always one of my favorites. The Hunter.
Yeah, Craven's good.
Morlock was the guy that was like the leech bat guy, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely,
he was also a half vampire, but he was more bat-like.
Yeah. But man, I like Blade's style. I like it. You know, like everything about Blade is just where I want to be.
He's whip ass, man. He's just
man.
A really good character, and they made a really solid film with that character.
They did, and I think it's also one of those things that if they had left it alone and just made a single one, I think we'd be talking even more about it now.
100%.
So
that was made in 1998.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. I'm looking up Whistler.
Oh, you're talking about
Chris Christopherson.
Yeah, Chris Christopherson, man. I love old Whistler. Chris Christopherson's just a grumpy old bastard. If like him and what's his name? The guy from 48 Hours. No, Nick Nolte is who I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you had like Chris Christopherson and Nick Nolte and Jeff Bridges, and they were just all being grumpy old men at each other, that'd be a funny movie, wouldn't it? Oh, God damn it. God damn it!
Come on, man.
Oh, come on! God damn it!
We need another like crotchety old man comedy
instead of grumpy old men.
No, not another grumpy old men.
Yeah, because there was grumpier old men.
Yeah,
I don't think they were grumpier though. They were actually less grumpy. On the second
exactly. One. They were just kind of
frumpy old men.
And frumpy old men.
Dumpy old Ben.
Dumpy old Ben. There you go.
What's the other one on the sci-fi? The action? Pulp Fiction. Pulp.
I like this movie.
Oh, I love Pulp Fiction.
It's definitely not my favorite Tarantino.
No, my favorite Tarantino is Reservoir Dogs. Yeah. No, actually, I take that back. It's Jackie Brown.
It's Jackie Brown.
It's Jackie Brown. Yeah, I love Jackie Brown, really, which is funny because he didn't write that one. Mm-hmm. It's based on a book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the screenplay did?
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah,
he didn't come up with the story. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
You know. Yeah, but I absolutely love Pulp Fiction, and that's a good quotable movie, and it's also one of those that when you find people that haven't watched it, you're like, really?
Yeah,
you know,
it's kind of surprising when you find somebody that hasn't watched it. Cause it's like, where have you been?
Yeah, how have you not watched this?
How have you not watched this? Like,
there's a kid that we hired over for the summer, and I was talking to him about that. I was like, "Oh man, Pulp Fiction." He's like, "Oh, I've never watched that." Like, why not? He's like, "Well, I started watching it. I don't know. I didn't really get into it, and then I watched something else." And it made me think. I bet there's a lot of people in general that can't watch older Tarantino movies because they didn't see them when they were coming out. Because much like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's a lot of that movie that doesn't have music in the background. And they'll be talking about stuff, and I bet there's a lot of times where people are just like, they keep talking.
Well, what's really... Yeah, well, you put that movie in the action category because when it does get bombastic and crazy, it gets really off the fucking wall, but most of that movie is dialogue.
Step aside, Butch.
Still favorite scene, still favorite line.
Motherfucker.
No. I'm not going to quote the whole thing, but what does Marcellus Wallace look like?
Oh yeah, that's your favorite thing out of the whole time.
Dude,
Man, I was thinking about something the other day because we were in the shop and we had some of the shop soap, to get like grease off your hands or whatever. And he was like, he said something. He's like, "Oh damn," And I was like, "Man, what the fuck you doing to this towel, man?" I'm sorry, man. This shit's hard to get off. Man, I used the same motherfucking soap that you used, and I didn't have to. The towel didn't look like no goddamn maxi pad when I got done.
Yeah,
that's it's those little lines, or like when he's standing there, and I'm definitely not going to repeat the last part of this, but when he's bullshitting with Tarantino, he's like, "Jimmy, this is a good coffee, man. Where'd you get this coffee?" Man, this is some serious gourmet shit right here. We would have been all right with some freeze-dried Taster's Choice, but you bust out on this serious gourmet shit.
I love it that the things in this movie that should be
pointless and
forgotten are the things that they really kind of blow out of proportion. And really. And then the things that they should really be like.
They make it like a passing whatever.
It's nothing.
Shooting the guy was a big deal, but they just kind of make the situation like it was.
But
just
it
like,
wasn't
it's just
the
work.
fact that they shot him.
No.
It was the fact that they messed up the car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That was the big deal.
It was the fact that they had to clean him up.
Yep, they had to clean Phil Lamar up. Which, I about this. I met Phil Lamar.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh shit! No, I didn't know about that.
Oh, you didn't?
No, you never told me that.
Wow, I forgot.
God damn it,
I met him recently, actually.
Oh, really?
At that anime convention.
Oh, hell yeah!
Yeah, he was there at Kami-Con, Kami Con. It's a Birmingham anime convention that happens every year, and
manga.
Yeah. I didn't get to hear his panel, which sucks, but I did at least get an autograph of him because I don't know if you know this, but he does the voice of Vamp from Metal Gear Solid.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So I took him a copy of my Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance, and he signed it for me. And I did not mention Pulp Fiction, and I did not mention a lot of other stuff. I mostly talked to him about him being Hermes.
Oh yeah.
And I talked to him about and I talked to him about Vamp, of course, because I love Vamp. I was disappointed to hear that he'd never met Hideo Kojima, but he was like, "Man, that guy's too busy. I can't pin him down."
Kojima just does stuff all the time.
But what I did miss out on mentioning to him is he was on an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and you know how much I love that.
Yeah.
Love it.
Heck yeah. Well, that's super cool.
Yeah, Phil Lamar was a super nice guy. If he's ever at a convention or something, please go up and talk to him. He's wonderful.
Yeah.
And great work. And he was Samurai Jack.
What? Oh, yeah, he was Samurai Jack. God, I missed that show.
Yeah, man.
God, I missed that show. Somebody has to have the rights to that show. Put it on Blu-ray, DVD, put it up on Amazon, Netflix. Somebody do this.
So out of the action category,
what do you think?
Man, I'm going for Blade just because I think that out of the three of those movies, that one's...
Even with the terrible CGI Blood God.
That's the only thing that sucks, though.
Yeah.
That's it.
But, I mean, that was the time.
Yeah, it's like watching Event Horizon.
Right.
There's that scene at the end where you're like, ooh, this ain't so good. Or Dark City.
Yeah.
Dark City doesn't age well with us, but still the concept's great.
Really
it's
good.
hard to hate on those
really
because of how far ahead they were trying to push things.
I got you.
It's hard to hate on that transitional period. It's like being overcritical of PS1 and N64 games. Like you're like, yeah, I get that there's limitations, but I really want
for these.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have what we have now.
Yeah, that's kind of
somebody had to bite the bullet eventually, you know.
And as far as stuff that looked bad, that's like the only thing in the whole movie that looks bad. Everything else looks great.
I think I remember like reading or watching something that ending scene wasn't supposed to even be there.
Yeah,
like it was something kind of last minute. Yeah, thrown in. Like there's an alternate ending, and we need to look that up later.
Oh, I know about the alternate ending. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because the alternate ending is Footloose.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
they K-baking it up.
They K-baking it. So we got one more category.
One more category going for drama. So in this one we put Shawshank Redemption, The Fighter. It Dances with Wolves.
Oh yeah, man. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about The Fighter.
Okay, yeah, do that
because I don't have a bunch to say about it.
I've only ever seen that movie once, but so yeah.
So The Fighter's based on a real person.
Okay.
Do you mind looking Fighter up, seeing what we got?
Seeing what we see.
Yeah, because I'm sure that'll have a little bit more information. But so it's Mark Wahlberg and Christian Bale. Now, Christian Bale is Mark Wahlberg's older brother, and the movie has a lot to do with substance abuse, and it has a lot to do with just a fucked up family situation and all that kind of stuff. It's an amazing drama. I don't want to go into a lot of the story because it's just specifics. It's one that you really should watch. Do you have any idea who the guy's name is?
It says based on the story of Mickey Ward.
Okay, Mickey Ward.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. It really is, and it's
a really sad movie.
Yeah, and it's another wonderful performance by Christian Bale.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the time in this movie that it kind of reminds me of the way he's like a more Boston version of the way he was in like The Machinist.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit more meat on his bones, but he looks shitty because is his character a junkie? Am I wrong about that, or is he just an alcoholic?
No, he gets into some pretty heavy drugs. I'm sure heroin's probably one.
I don't really remember that specific part of it though. Okay,
yeah,
or whether they cover it in depth. I really don't remember that, but
because you pretty much see most of this from Mark
Wahlberg's perspective, exactly.
Yeah, so yeah,
because his brother's training him.
Yeah,
because his brother's an amazing fighter too, so he's trying to hey.
Yeah,
teach my kid brother,
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's a heartbreaking film. It really is, and it's another great performance by both Mark Wahlberg and Christian Bale.
Yeah,
definitely a solid recommend.
Yeah. So anyway, next on the list, so Shawshank Redemption.
Okay, Shawshank.
Yeah.
I
recently rewatched that movie,
and that one holds up great.
That one, 100%. If it was made today. It would probably wouldn't be as good, but
no, it wouldn't be as good.
But like, I honestly think that you could show that movie to really anybody, and if they're like just a good character movie, then they're gonna love it.
Yeah,
because that's the thing that really like the story itself. Of course, guy gets wrongly accused for murdering his wife.
Yeah,
gets sent to a prison, and is there for he's there for like 40 years, 30.
I think it's more like 30, but
30.
Yeah.
But like
a lot,
long time, and just dealing with prison life, and then eventually breaks out, But just the characters in that movie, like. Of course, Morgan Freeman again, fantastic actor.
I can get things.
What I can get things. I love it. What is it in the original short story that Stephen King wrote?
Yeah.
Red was actually a Irish dude, like an actual Irish dude.
Oh.
So when Tim Robbins, yeah. So when Tim Robbins asked him, he's just like, "Why do they call you Red?" Maybe it's 'cause I'm Irish.
Okay, yeah, nice.
Just a little nothing throwaway line, and I think it's really interesting how, like, when you read the short story, it's very much like just kind of Red's memoirs, you know, and it is a short story, and the movie really just expands on the story. They don't really take anything away because there wasn't much that they could throw away and still not have the same story.
Yeah.
They just elaborate on these characters, you know.
And you know, one of my other favorite actors in this is Clancy Brown, man.
Oh yeah,
you know, who is fucking Kurgan in Highlander.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he also plays the drill sergeant in Starship Troopers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Uh-huh.
You had best unfuck yourself.
Yep. Yep.
Now, who thinks they can take me down?
Andy Dufresne.
Andy Dufresne.
It says Dufresne.
Dufresne?
Right.
That's wrong.
No, that's just how you spell it.
Oh. It's like, that's not right.
It's Dufresne.
Dufresne. Andy Dufresne?
Dufresne.
I don't know. Well, like, I absolutely love Shawshank. It was one of those movies that I probably shouldn't have seen as young as I saw it.
Yeah.
But my mom really liked it, so it was one of those movies that she would just always watch.
Yeah, I gotcha.
You know, so, yeah. Which is really weird, because my mom usually doesn't like movies like that. You know, with a lot of swearing and, like, people just getting the shit kicked out of them.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, it was weird. It was weird. One of those, like, movies that almost, like, transcends whether the content.
Yeah.
That,
like Spice World.
Yeah, of course, Spice World.
Okay.
Of course, Spice World. But moving on. So what? Oh, Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, that's our third pick. Dances with Wolves. You ever seen the extended version of that?
Yes.
It's 3.5 hours long.
Jesus.
Did you know that?
Christ.
Three and a half. 3.5.
It is long,
right?
And it like I really like this movie, but I will say the length does it.
It's heavy.
It is very rare that the length of a movie will get to me.
Especially if you're watching the extended version, there's like a whole thing where you're like, wait, what happened? Oh, that was a whole different movie ago.
Yeah.
That was yesterday that I saw that, right? Wasn't that yesterday?
Yeah.
Where am I?
You kind of have to take this movie in strides when you watch it. It is fantastic. It's absolutely beautiful. But, yeah, just
I like the
anytime someone says that Dances with Wolves is too long for them to watch, I completely understand.
I like the monologue a lot.
Yeah.
Even though Kevin Costner does kind of sound bored through a lot of it.
I think Kevin Costner just
sounds like Kevin Costner.
Yeah, he just plays bored all the time.
That's what I'm saying though. Is that's just how Kevin Costner sounds.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just like whatever.
Yeah.
But he does just kind of like, well, I found this dog named Two Socks. That's cool. You know, I decided to name him that because he has two socks. Went and took a naked bath at the river.
They were gonna take my foot off.
Showed my pecker to a native. Scared him. It's a fun time.
Can't just go around showing your pecker to just anybody, man.
You can't. So one thing that I really like in the extended version, this is one of the very few scenes that I thought was so blatant that it wasn't in the other version. Like a lot of the other stuff was just extending sequences, you know?
Right.
Like when they hunt the buffalo, or when the end with the migration, or like
it's a lot of just landscape.
It's a lot of stuff like that.
They kind of like with the theatrical version, they really just kind of trim the fat.
They trim the fat, except for this one scene.
Yeah,
this one scene that shows the outpost that Dunbar is going to initially,
yeah.
you know, and it shows all of the soldiers that are giving up the outpost because they haven't received any backup and rations and supplies, which they should have months ago.
Right.
So they were running on empty, and that's the whole reason Dunbar goes out here is to like check on the post. Well, nobody's there.
Yeah.
Because they gave that shit up because nobody cared about them anymore.
Right.
And they were told they're supposed to get their supplies every couple of months, and it just stopped coming.
And it just stopped, yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's a really cool scene because it shows these guys that have been starving and have been waiting and have been doing their job as Union soldiers. They've been trying their best to do their country right, and instead they're getting shit on and forgotten.
Yeah.
Because you have insane people like that guy that folded that letter 400 times at the beginning of the movie running the armies and the outposts.
Could you actually fold a letter 400 times?
No, I think it's
like
like
a very
7.
specific note. Yeah.
I really think it is. It's like 7. You can fold a piece of paper 7 times.
Be the tiniest letter ever received.
Here, I'm gonna look up how many times you can fold a piece of paper because it's a definite number.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would honestly say at least with this category, my pick's definitely going to be Shawshank. I just absolutely love that movie. It's a good, solid film. Good character. It is about. It's 2 hours long, but it really doesn't feel that way.
I really like Dances with Wolves a lot, and I've seen that movie more than Shawshank, but I think Shawshank's a better movie, and I think it'd be one that I'd give to someone quicker to watch.
Right.
Like, unless you're just really into the Civil War or Wild West or something
or
like
Kevin
that.
Costner.
Which I doubt there's a lot of huge Kevin Costner fans.
Oh, come on, man. He did The Postman.
And he did Waterworld.
And Waterworld.
I actually can't really say shit about Postman. I love that movie.
I absolutely.
It's the closest thing to a Fallout movie that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't think I've ever thought of it that way.
I mean, that and, what is it, A Boy and His Dog?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, what's the other one?
Mad Max. That was a little bit more hyper apocalypse.
Yeah, I mean, there's no nuclear
True.
It's not the Omega Man, which I guess is I Am Legend, but
yeah,
that's not what we're talking about.
Okay,
but Shawshank, man, I'd say Shawshank out of those 3 films too. I'd give Shawshank to someone quicker.
Yeah,
than the other 2.
Yeah.
Because the fighter just is a really good movie. But man, if you don't like sad movies like me and Scott do, because we're just going to go ahead and tell you, we like sad movies.
Sad movies are really good,
They're
especially
real good.
Especially a sad movie that makes me really love the characters. Like, if you can make me fall in love with a character and then put them through hell, that is the, best way to pull up my heartstrings.
Because everybody hurts.
All right, so I think we have a definite list now.
Oh yeah, well you want to talk about the top 5s?
All right, so number 5, Philip. What did we say?
Oh yeah, Footloose.
Right. Okay, awesome. Number 4.
Oh, yeah, okay. This one, Footloose.
All right. Number 3.
Okay, Curveball.
Oh.
This is kind of a mode of contention for me. I'm not really sure how you'll feel, but Footloose.
All right, yeah, I can get down with that.
Okay,
I'm gonna jump in on number 2.
Okay, what you got?
All right, and I'm gonna say Footloose.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think both of us are putting our foot down.
Yeah.
On
100%.
number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, this is no joke. Best movie that you can get in
for
the dollar
$5.
$5 bin.
bin. This is a
That's
5
right.
for 5 for 5.
This is the best.
On the 5.
All right.
For the 5th.
And that's Footloose. Everybody's going Footloose.
Everybody.
We hope that y'all are going Footloose.
I'm going Footloose right now in this chair.
And
which is really awkward.
Before we cut this episode,
right?
I actually wanted to make a little comment here based on the last episode that Scott and I recorded.
Oh, okay.
Not for the Mad Cinemist.
Oh, yeah, because we have other podcasts going now.
That's right.
Yeah.
The Occasionally Relevant Gaming channel is popping up, which we're having quite a few little snippets that you're gonna be getting real soon here.
Yeah, real soon.
We already have 2 full episodes of that podcast going on, but it still hasn't been uploaded because I'm a lazy bastard.
It's all right. We'll get there.
I wanted to correct myself, which I'm going to do this on the next episode of that podcast too, just to say that I think it's very funny. It's real funny that as soon as I make a podcast about what I don't like about Skyrim, they go and make a goddamn update
on the Skyrim VR.
On Skyrim VR and fix at least a handful of the problems that I was having. So I feel like as soon as I upload this thing, I'm going to get a bunch of people like, they fixed it. Fixed it. No, you're stupid. Fixed it. Skyrim's awesome. But in any regard, you should listen to our podcast.
Yeah, you should.
Our other podcast.
It's really good. And then we have our buddy Levi. He's doing a VGM, the Very Good Music.
Very glorious music.
Very glorious music. Oh,
That's
excuse
right.
me. I downplayed that
it's
G
very good.
a little bit. Yeah,
it's very glorious.
It's very good. Very glorious.
That's right.
It was like, so hopefully y'all recorded that episode recently.
Yes, and we have a second episode coming soon.
Which I will actually be on.
Scott will be on. It's going to be about Daisuke Ishwatari, which, if you do not know, is the creator of Guilty Gear. And
which, if you don't know, you should just listen to the podcast.
Yeah, that's right. You really, if you don't know, well, now you know, okay? And we'll be recording that one pretty soon, so all of these episodes will be online for y'all to enjoy.
Heck yeah. This one is this episode will go up very soon. If you're listening to this, then you don't need to know that. But anyways,
we're telling you about the past to you, but
in the future.
At the moment,
in
it's the
our
future,
this is your present.
See, this is a paradox.
Woo!
Well,
all right. Anyways, guys, if you want to contact us, you can reach us at Facebook. You can email us at madcinemist@gmail.com. And check us out on YouTube. We've got a lot of a lot of really good podcasts coming up, maybe even a couple other videos. Our next episode for next month is going to be full-length anime.
Yes.
Full-length feature film anime. So we've got, and we'll actually have our buddy Levi as a guest. We'll have our first guest on the Mad Cinemist.
First guest.
First, man. We're racking them up, man. Making checklists. Checking boxes. Alright, guys, we're gonna end this right here. Hope you enjoyed the show. Tell everybody bye, Phil.
Bye.
Bye, guys.